Ahoy, aspiring seawolves! Today we're going to introduce you to a powerful foe, a ship whose name strikes fear and respect into those that hear it. A force to be reckoned with on the high seas. With her sleek design and powerful armament, the Scharnhorst was a true convoy hunter and fleet beater. The KMS Scharnhorst was one of the most powerful and feared warships of Nazi Germany's Kriegsmarine. She was the lead ship of a two-ship class, accompanied by her sister Gneisenau. Together they formed the core of Germany's naval striking force, raiding Allied shipping and challenging the Royal Navy's supremacy at sea. The Scharnhorst class was a result of Germany's ambitious naval rearmament program, which aimed to challenge the naval treaties that limited its fleet after World War I. The Treaty of Versailles restricted Germany to warships displacing no more than 10,000 long tons. Despite this, in the 1920s, Germany began to design larger and more powerful ships that would displace 19,000 long tons and have the same armament and speed as battleships of the time. Hitler supported this plan, as he saw the threat of an unsinkable commerce raider as the perfect tool to intimidate Britain and France. He did not want to overtly flout the terms of the treaty, but he also didn't realise that such a ship would provoke a naval arms race and draw the ire of the Royal Navy. Hitler later gave permission to increase the size and firepower of the new ships, installing a third turret. The ships were then classified as battleships by the Kriegsmarine. The Scharnhorst displaced 26,000 tons and was armed with 9 28cm or 11-inch guns in 3 triple turrets. They also had a powerful secondary battery of 12 15cm guns and a high speed of 31 knots. The ships were well protected by a thick armor belt and a robust internal subdivision. They were also equipped with a catapult and 3 scout planes for reconnaissance and spotting. The Scharnhorst was laid down in June of 1935 at the dockyard in Wilhelmshaven and launched in October of 1936. She was commissioned in January of 1939 and joined her sister ship Gneisenau in the North Sea. The two ships operated together for most of their careers, forming a formidable duo that earned them the nickname the Twins. They participated in several operations during World War II, including the invasion of Normandy, where the Twins engaged the British battlecruiser HMS Renown in a brief but fierce gun duel. They also sank the British aircraft carrier HMS Glorious and her escort destroyers Acasta and Ardent in a surprise attack. During this action, Scharnhorst achieved one of the longest range naval gunfire hits in history, hitting Glorious at a range of 24.2 kilometers. Glorious was hit by at least 3 shells and reduced to a burning wreck. Operation Berlin was a sortie into the Atlantic Ocean from January to March 1941, where the Twins raided Allied merchant shipping, sinking and capturing 22 ships in total. This was equal to 115,000 gross registered tons, and they also evaded several British hunting groups, including one led by the battleship HMS Rodney. Operation Cerberus was a daring daylight dash through the English Channel from occupied France to Germany in February of 1942. The Twins, alongside the heavy cruiser Prince Eugen and several destroyers and torpedo boats, ran the gauntlet of British air and naval forces, reaching their destination with minimal damage. This was a major propaganda coup for Germany and a humiliation for Britain. Operation Ostfront was a sortie from Norway to intercept Allied convoys to the Soviet Union in December of 1943. Scharnhorst, accompanied by 5 destroyers, attempted to attack convoy JW-55B, but was intercepted by British naval force led by the battleship HMS Duke of York. In the ensuing Battle of the North Cape, Scharnhorst was outnumbered and outgunned by British ships, which included 2 cruisers and 4 destroyers. After a fierce fight that lasted several hours, Scharnhorst was hit by several torpedoes and shells. Losing speed and steering, she was finally sunk by torpedoes from Duke of York and the destroyer HMS Scorpion. Only 36 of her crew of 1,968 men survived. The Scharnhorst was a remarkable ship that embodied Germany's naval aspirations and ambitions. She was admired by friend and foe alike for her speed, power, and beauty. She was also a formidable adversary that inflicted heavy losses on her enemies and fought bravely until the end. However, she was also doomed by Hitler's strategic blunders, which isolated her from potential allies and exposed her to overwhelming odds. She was ultimately a tragic symbol of Nazi Germany's rise and fall. The Scharnhorst's significance in World War II was not only measured by her military achievements, but also by her psychological impact on both sides. For the Germans, she was a source of pride and propaganda, as well as a valuable asset for their naval operations. For the Allies, she was a constant threat and a challenge, as well as a worthy opponent that demanded respect. The Scharnhorst's fate also reflected the changing nature of naval warfare, as she was sunk by a combination of radar-guided gunfire, torpedoes, and air attacks. The Battle of North Cape marked the last surface engagement between British and German capital ships during World War II. With turrets damaged, the loss of the Scharnhorst effectively eliminated surface threats to the Allies' Arctic convoys. The engagement also demonstrated the importance of radar-directed fire control in modern naval battles. The Scharnhorst's legacy lives on in the memories and histories of those who witnessed her glory and demise. She remains one of the most famous and respected warships of World War II, and a symbol of Germany's naval power and ambition. Would you like to know more? Enlist today. G'day and welcome to the channel. The Scharnhorst came to the game in the Winged Lions patch last year sometime, and when it was introduced, it was one of the very first ships that I covered for history reviews. It's the very first ship that I felt confident to say, hey, let's make a video. And it was worthy of that. It absolutely wiped the floor with everything. Literally everything. It was nearly unkillable, a giant battering ram designed to smash the enemy team. Since then, she's gone up to battle rating 7.0. There's been introduction of a new flooding mechanic. There's been lots more in the way of big gun threats to the Scharnhorst. But in my humble opinion, I still think that she is the epitome of blue water ships. She can do everything well, and although she doesn't have the hardest hitting guns, for 11-inch guns they are extremely reliable, and you know what they're going to do. Now Scharnhorst really skirts the line between battle cruiser and battleship in her design theory and the way that she is played. She is designed to be faster than everything she can't kill, and that's generally true, but in War Thunder, she can technically kill everything. Until the introduction of the big 16-inch naval weapons, there's going to be a subset of the community that absolutely despise the Scharnhorst simply because of its durability, and that's not unfounded. Since the new flooding mechanic has been introduced, however, she is much more susceptible to HE spam from both 8-inch cruisers and higher. But if you get into a single one-on-one fight with the Scharnhorst, you can be guaranteed that it's going to do a lot of damage to you before you do the damage back. Scharnhorst is a close-range brawler. She's designed to get into the face and into the center of the convoy, cause maximum damage, and then scoot before reinforcements come. And in War Thunder, that's how you play her. Due to the fact that she has a 12.5-inch armor belt, as well as the turtleback armor scheme with a 100mm splinter deck behind, the closer she gets to you, the harder she is to kill. Big guns just cannot get the angle to get into the citadel and destroy it. A lot of the time they're caught by the turtleback or the splinter deck and they are deflected, and they only do minimal damage. So it takes a really lucky point blank shot to get through and do any meaningful damage. You see here it just bounces off that secondary armor plate behind the main belt. And even when you do get through, it's only minimal damage. And that's with a 15-inch gun from the hood at point blank range. She's somewhat susceptible to long range fire, and that makes an interesting little trio happening with the Alaska, the Kronstadt, and the Scharnhorst. The Scharnhorst being the close range killer, the Kronstadt being the somewhat medium range heavy hitter, and the Alaska being the long range fighter with super heavy plunging shells, very heavy deck armor, and very high penetration compared to other guns at long range. So really, when you're grinding towards your end line battle cruise, you need to think about what sort of fighting style you have. The Alaska is susceptible to ammo racks at close range, as is the Kronstadt. That is not an issue with the Scharnhorst. The Scharnhorst also has the added bonus of having an obscene amount of German World War II torpedoes for her ship size in a very, very good launchers on each side. I believe they were removed from the Kolm class to put on the Scharnhorst, or it might be the Nürnberg, I can't remember. But anyway, that makes her extremely deadly, because if you can't gun someone down, you just steam towards them, you rely on your armor, you take out the deadly threats to you, and then you torpedo the capital ships. It's absolutely fantastic gameplay. And when you face a team of Scharnhorsts, they are almost unbeatable. And I mean that, unless you have another team of Scharnhorsts fighting each other. Like I said before, Scharnhorsts aren't invincible. They are very susceptible to torpedoes just before the torpedo bulge starts behind the A turret. And if you can get one in there, you can detonate her instantly. However, it's a very, very fine line. On the other side, you've got strong torpedo protection, and before that, you've got meaningless areas of the ship. A torpedo of 400 kilos will do unbreakable damage to her bow, and so that is a viable tactic. I've used that tactic to take down a Scharnhorst in one shot, and I've had that tactic used against me as well. If you're fighting her in a gun cruiser or a battleship, you just need to batter her into submission, starting at long range. That way you have some hope of your angled fire plunging through the deck and hitting that secondary armor plate at a much better angle and then falling into the ship. But then again, it really is just a matter of luck and determination. So let's jump in and I'll show you a few clips of what can happen to a Scharnhorst and what you can do with a Scharnhorst. Don't forget to subscribe, like and share, and let's get into it. Despite the fact that I am in a 26,000 ton battleship / battle cruiser, depending on your navy, I feel like I'm in a lot of trouble. This Project 206 has just dropped fish. I've got no front turrets because I'm currently getting smashed from behind by two other Scharnhorsts. Got bridge control back, but I need to watch. I have to wait until he's dropped all his fish to know which way to go. He's got two left. Wait, one left. Oh, I think they're all out now. Yes, they are. 4 fish in the water. Oh, not much room for evasive maneuvers here. I'm going to have to choose one and then thread the others. This is probably looking like the least worst, because we'll try and hit him as well. Oh, we've taken catastrophic damage to the bow. It's completely flooded. We'll try and destroy him here. No. He's dropping death charges. Death charges. Oh dear. I would like to see the collision mechanics changed a little bit. Bow to bow smash should work differently to that. When the whole team refuses to move from the spawn, you have to go forward in the Scharnhorst and take the capture point. Taken so much fire from everybody. And it looks to be, looks like I'm sinking. I can't fix that repair. I don't have the unrepairable breach tooltip. It's not saying that, but I'm still flooding. I've taken so much damage to the starboard side from that Des Moines before. I could only just be a pest. But previously you could just stop here in the capture zone and just stay the rest of the battle and you would be fine. But it looks like I may be sinking. Definitely sinking. Got all the fish out. Reloading more. I'll just send out a spam of fish before the Scharnhorst goes down. This Wyoming's about to get hit by one of our fish. Nice big hit in the broadside there. Got some help in the way of an AI destroyer. We've taken heaps of damage to that. Oh man, I'm so frazzled from all the fire. It's been non-stop for the last 10 minutes and we're just slowly sinking to our doom. Try and take this guy out. Despite having more than half of our crew left, we are sinking. Millions of holes. Here he comes now. I think it's a brigand. You don't see them very often. Well, I don't anyway. Nice little light bomber. Where are you? He's going to do a little bomb toss here. I can feel it. Where are you? There you are. He's pretty fast and pretty level. That might come straight at me, that bomb. Right next to the ship. Should be okay. Oh, it's not okay. We are... Whoa, look at that damage. Look at the shockwave. What did he have in that bomb? 3 tons of TNT. That was a significant hole under the waterline. That did lots of flooding damage. So maybe that's a thing now. I'll have to test that with a longer fuse on the bomb. Can you do more damage when it sinks next to the ship? Take out this cruiser here, this cruiser here. So basically the play style is you slowly and inexorably make your way to the enemy spawn point. You kill all the light and heavy cruisers that might try to batter you with high explosives. And when you get to the enemy spawn point, you take out the capital ships. Either with your guns or with your torpedoes, whichever one they are willing to take. There's a second cruiser down. We've got a Russian cruiser in the background. We've got a beached whale here showing her belly. I just have to wait until I've got some depression on these guns, and then I can share it with this beached whale. Straight into the ammo room. It's supposed to be water around that, my friends. Go to this Russian cruiser. I don't use anything else except the armor-piercing rounds, to be honest. They cut through everything. 300mm at pen at 7.5 kilometers. You can shoot through other ships to hit other ships. It's pretty funny. Especially when all the Clevelands are all lined up and the Helenas. You can shoot through them and hit others. Got a fairly flat trajectory on the 11-inch gun and a great reload. 17 seconds with an aced crew, and my Scharnhorst are the ace crew of the German Navy. One of the very few vehicles in the game where I have the ace status. The ace status. The ace status. There's a Congo class battlecruiser. My goal here is to try and take out his ammo elevators, and that will just make his reload time crippling in comparison to mine. Like I said, I've got 17 seconds when I'm not repairing things. We'll take out this Sverdlov in the background. He's not really the most dangerous threat, but he might have... I don't know, I get ammo racked more by these things than I do most other things. They're stupid semi-armor piercing rounds. So I'll just keep crawling towards the Kongu. And it looks like possibly an Alaska or a Nevada in the background. Just over to the left. Just seeing lots of fire coming from over there. There's a Marat. So we'll turn our attention back to Kongu Des. I'll give him some more through his ammo elevators. Just waiting on that. Now you can't quite fire over the bow, so you do have a little bit of angle. But when you present angle, you've got extreme armor. So I'm just going to set a course across this Kongo's bow. And we're going to angle ourselves for a torpedo strike to finish him off. A dishonorable display. Back through. Try and get the ammo room. But he's not putting out much in the way of reply fire. Here we go. Yeah, I thought there was a Nevada here. I saw it before, and I knew it hadn't been killed. Now, despite the pretty good armor, these things are very susceptible to ammo racks at close range from the Scharnhorst. We've got a threat here in the form of a battle class destroyer. Now he's got rear firing angles on his torpedo tubes, so he has to sort of be really broadside to launch fish. And at the moment, Kongo is in the way, so I don't feel too threatened. So we'll launch a few fish out for Kongu Des. And we'll just keep feeding this guy armor-piercing shells. I want this guy to sink rather than explode. I want him to watch his torpedoes fail. He's going to launch them soon if I don't get to him. We need to put some fire on the Nevada soon. We are presenting a bit of a target. They are starting to chip away at our crew, but that doesn't matter. We're on a mission. Now we just have to wait until our torpedoes strike true. Looks like the destroyer has laying fish. So we'll take a slight port turn just to decrease the angle of those torpedoes to our hull. Put some more shots in on him. I could have swapped to SAP, but I won't. Looks like we're about to get a second hit on with the fish on the Congo Des. We're basically just ignoring Nevada at this point. Got more pressing concerns. Congo has been detonated. Second fish striking home underneath the super firing turret. There we go. Destroyer, the battle class. Looks to be an Australian one. It's a Brook. Alright, this is where it's going to get a little tricky, but I'm confident we'll straighten up a little bit and slide past this first one. The second one is going to be the problem. We may have to absorb one of those torpedoes, but I'm pretty certain we could absorb it in the bow. Well, perhaps if I can try and angle it just towards the torpedo protection. It's a little bit dicey because we've got a weak point here. Oh, fortunately, if it was a little bit further forward than that, that is the major weak spot. But what is life without risk? Congo Des is contemplating life on the sea, and they have succumbed to a G7A torpedo. Two of them. One aft, one to the fore, near their super firing turret. Oh dear, looks like we've got an Alaska and a Nevada. Whatever shall we do? Well, we're going to aim for their ammo elevators to decrease their already astronomical reload time. And then we're going to try and get through the Citadel and cause a major fire. In the engine room, preferably. The 11-inch guns have the reload rate and the pen at this range to do what they need to do against most armor schemes already present. I would argue that she's probably the most capable at fighting these American battleships. The Kronstadt can do it really well too. She's got very, very hard-hitting ammo, but just in terms of tanking fire, Scharnhorst is the fun way to do it. There we go. Thank you, sir. You need to reassess your powder storage protocols, I think. Got another Sverdlov here. Put out some fish for them. They're a non-threat. They're not even participating, really. But this guy most certainly is participating, and we are starting to get very, very low on crew levels. 20% now. 99% integrity for the hull. But realistically, we're not taking much damage. I am turning now to the port side to try and present the starboard side armor more. That will extend our life up a little bit. Our port side has just been smashed to hell. And the last game, taking too much on one side really did show to be the death of you. So I highly recommend fighting on both sides of your armored ships now. You will prolong your life. Things like coal bunkers and that are on both sides of the ship. They need to be worked through to cause major damage. That's what I like about the naval. Oh, Jesus! Nevada. Also needing new powder protocols. Should I fight this guy? He's not even fighting me. What? Not even participating. Get out of my show. There you go, straight through the ready rack. Looks like we've had a respawn here. This American battleship captain is not willing to go down without a fight. Possibly coming back in a sister ship. We're coming up hard here on the beach. And this is where the Scharnhorst is going to lay, I think. We've reached that critical point of damage now where the flooding's not stopping. But the key now is to try and take one last hurrah. Last fish out. One more to go. Just waiting for that to reload. Waiting for him to shift his momentum a little. Then we'll fire it off. Give him something to think about while we target that juicy ammo rack underneath the rear super firing turret. Here we go. Come on. Last stand of the Scharnhorst. Let's do the namesake of this ship proud. Very, very sturdy ship. And I would like to see something from other nations that can offer something comparable. I mean, sure, you can beat her, but I just think she's so fun. Scharnhorst is so evilly, rottenly fun. There we go. Thank you there, USS Nevada. And that looks like it's a wrap. 10 kills, 1 aircraft, and the Scharnhorst has come to a rest on the beach. That player came back in Alaska, but it was too late. The mission is over. 5,000 mission points, very successful. And so I hope that this illustrates to you just how powerful the Scharnhorst is if you haven't experienced her on the sea. And I think it justifies the raise in battle rating and also the astronomical increase in cost recently for the ship. Until next time, Commander Tyrael, out.